In the automotive world, there is one name that is synonymous with luxury and elegance. You probably guessed it. That's right, it's Rolls Royce. This is the perfect example of that said luxury and elegance. This is the brand new Rolls Royce Dawn Inspired by fashion. What does that mean? It means that some of the styling cues on this ragtop have been inspired by some of the world's top fashion designers. This one rings in at over $500,000, and I can't believe I get to drive this today. So, what does $500,000 get you? Let's find out. Like other current models of Rolls-Royce, the Dawn retains its regal look, yet adds a flavor of modern design. If there was such thing as a Rolls-Royce for the younger generation, this would be it. The edges are smooth and meeting points blend seamlessly into one another. The Dawn is a soft-top convertible, or as Rolls-Royce calls it, a drop-head coupe. A Rolls would not be a Rolls, though, without the signature grille. It stands strong, anchoring the rest of the car. Like most modern cars, the front gets its share of LED lighting and a nice halo-style treatment around the headlights. And of course, you can't forget about the lady on the hood, the Spirit of Ecstasy. And to ward off any souvenir collectors, the Spirit hides away when you lock the door, or it can be lowered or raised on demand as well. One of my biggest fears was that my expectations were going to be too high and I was going to be a little bit disappointed. That was definitely not the case with this Dawn. On the outside, the Dawn positively delivers on all fronts. The Andalusian white paint is flawless and deep. Then you look at the blue coach line and you can just picture the steady hand of the painter applying his signature onto this handmade canvas. Okay, I'm not quite sure how to get into this still getting used to it. As you can tell, these are reversed opening doors or suicide doors, and they're heavy, especially when they're extended way out like this. So to help you with that, there is a door button. You just hold that and you have power doors in this. How cool is that? So this is where the experience really begins as soon as you sit in any seat of this Rolls Royce. Yeah. You have to kind of just sit and look at it and just let it, just soak it in for a few seconds first. As you can see, this has a piano finish instead of a traditional wood finish. It is wood, and this has like a white metallic finish to it. Absolutely perfect, and you can see this opens up for the screen. This interior is a lot more modern than a traditional, what you'd think of from a Rolls Royce. So right off the bat, there are 3 different color versions of the Dawn Inspired by fashion. There is the Mugello red, and then there is the Cobalto blue, which we have here, and then there's the Mandarin, which is like an orange. I would prefer the blue for sure, because I'm a big fan of blue, one of my favorite colors. I've even dressed for this review. Look, I'm basically matching the car. This is as designer as I get, but yeah, blue, blue, blue. As you can see, the inlay or the inside of the steering wheel is blue. It's a two-tone with the black leather. Every single part of this car is absolutely perfect. And I really, really mean that. When you look at every stitch, it's all hand done. Every seam on the dash where it joins with another material, around the buttons, around the speakers, every single bit is perfect. Now, Rolls-Royce uses the finest leather. There is 0 flaws. It's absolutely perfect. There are no imperfections whatsoever. Doesn't matter where you look. It almost looks fake. It doesn't even look like real leather because it's that perfect, if you can imagine that. So leather everywhere. You have it on the doors. In the door panels, you have a pocket, and in your pocket, it's lined with silk. It's blue silk with a Spirit of Ecstasy pattern. You gotta love that. Then in the center, you have your 10.3-inch screen. If you're familiar with BMWs, you'll kind of feel at home with some of the gear in here, like that screen. The iDrive knob or the button is a little bit different because what they did is they've taken that knob and it's made out of crystal and solid silver. But it still acts like the regular knob. You can use it as a tablet where you can write characters and everything else like this. And I like how they went kind of old school. You have these great air vent pulls, even the knobs. You gotta love this. You know, the fan speeds, it's off and then soft, medium, high, and max. Speaking of leather, this Dawn doesn't even use wool floor mats. It uses, you guessed it, leather floor mats. You have leather everywhere, including on the floor. You're standing on leather. Most think that the back is where it's at in a Rolls Royce. Not quite the case for cars like the Wraith or this Dawn. These are meant to be driven, but that doesn't mean that the two back seats are undesirable. As you see, when you find out you're going to have a Rolls Royce for a day, what do? You have to share the experience. When you roll up, everybody wants to see it. They want to sit in it. They want to take pictures in it. They want to touch it. They want to feel it. And no one complains about being in the back. By the way, if you do need to install car seats in them, it does have a latch system. There's just a thing about Rolls Royce that attracts both the young and the old. It just felt like a celebration. It really reminds me of a saying a well-known restaurateur told me one day about champagne. He said, everyone opens a bottle of champagne to celebrate something. For me, opening a bottle is a reason to celebrate. I think that having a Rolls Royce is just like that, a celebration every time you get into one. You know that saying that money can't buy happiness? I think for the most part that's true, but it definitely helps. All right, so we spent the better part of yesterday driving this Rolls Royce Dawn, and I gotta tell you, not only myself enjoyed it, a lot of other people enjoyed it, and that's a great thing. Let's get to the driving experience. First of all, as you notice, we have the top up right now. Now this is a 6-layer top, cloth top, and Rolls Royce has really pulled out all stops, and there are no compromises when it comes to the quality of the top and the sound quality. If you can hear, it's extremely quiet in here. So quiet that with the top up, with this cloth top, it's actually just as quiet as the Rolls Royce Wraith, which has a permanent hard top. So that's pretty impressive. Then you match that with the incredible stereo they have in here. I think it's just a stereo that they make in-house, but they build that stereo from the ground up for this car. The sub and the systems are all integrated into the body of the vehicle before the interior goes in, so it really is a purpose-made sound system. Unfortunately, it just doesn't do it justice for me to let you listen to it because you just really got to experience it yourself. So what's under the hood of this big bad boy? A V12 6.6 liter engine, and of course it's got a twin turbo too, and that outputs 563 horsepower and 605 pound-feet of torque. That's a lot, but remember, this is a big heavy vehicle. It tips the scales about 5,500 pounds or so, but still that torque over 600 pound-feet, it comes on at just over 1,500 RPM. So right off the start, you got it right there. But what's very unusual is the delivery, the power delivery of this vehicle is you just basically have to put your pedal down maybe 10% and it just gets up to speed so effortlessly, and it's so smooth. It's buttery smooth. Then that's matched to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now this is a satellite-based transmission. What does that mean? It means that this transmission communicates via satellite, or kind of like navigation, so it can know where the corners are and how the roads are, and it can predict that and shift up or down according to where you are, making it a lot more efficient and a lot more enjoyable and engaging to drive. Now, the drive, suspension-wise, this does have an air suspension. You can raise and lower it right under here in the glove box, but The suspension, it's very supple as you would expect from a Rolls Royce, but it's not too floaty, which is amazing. It is quite progressive. And for example, I'm going to go over a speed bump here. You can feel that weight, but it's not jarring and it settles right back. We're not bouncing and porpoising afterwards, so very impressive. And this is definitely something you would expect for a $500,000 Rolls Royce, that's for sure. So that is no surprise. So let's go back to the top again. Goes up or down in just over 20 seconds. The nice thing is you can activate it while driving. As long as you're under 50 kilometers an hour or 30 miles an hour, you can do it. We are doing it right now. Oh yeah. Now that is cool. I'm just gonna roll the window up just a little bit, just in case we get a little bit of wind for the microphone. Just because this is a big, heavy, luxury convertible, it doesn't mean that it's any slouch though. 0 to 60 in this beast is in 4.8 seconds. Under 5 seconds for this. And you know, it really could be faster, but like I said, the power delivery is just so smooth that right off the start, even if you mat it, if we are at a stop right now, and if we just it will not translate what we just felt. It just sucks you back ever so gently. It's like a beautiful symphony concerto. It builds right to the end and then boom, then you're up to speed. Just because it's quick though, doesn't mean you're gonna be driving like that. It's just nice to have the ability to have that power just in case you need it. Most of the time, this really is the ultimate cruiser. I could just picture driving this. Doesn't matter if you're in traffic or anything, it's effortless. The steering wheel is huge, by the way, and it's so easy to turn. I could turn it with my pinky finger. Ever so easy. There we go. And it's a big steering wheel, but it also has a very, very large turning radius for the ratio. So it's almost like driving a kind of a bus. You can move it a lot without moving the car a lot. So just cruising in the Dawn, you know what? The first thing I just got to tell you, we talked about it in the interior. Everything is just so seamless and perfectly done. So the experience is just touching everything. It might sound kind of weird, but I just want to touch this car like everywhere. Now, if you don't like attention, maybe this isn't the right car for you, because just like any other convertible, you're out there for the world to see. You're stopped at a light, everyone's looking. But the thing with this Dawn though, you're not sure, are they looking at you or are they looking at the car? I think it's a little bit of both with this vehicle, because they're looking at the car because it is striking to look at. It's not a common car you see every day. But then they're probably looking at the driver going, who is he? There really is kind of like a X factor involved with this Dawn. Kind of like a je ne sais quoi. It's when you sit in the seat, whether you're a passenger or driving it, you just experience so much. And I kind of get it for the people that buy this car. First of all, if you can afford to buy this car, that pretty well means that you've succeeded. You are at the top of the game, and it's the ultimate status symbol. But not only that, it also means that you appreciate the finer or the best things in life, because everything that's involved with this vehicle is perfection. I'm not sure if you noticed, but even with the top off, it's still very quiet. In fact, yesterday I was driving it and I was talking on the phone on the freeway, doing about 110 clicks. And after a 20-minute phone call, I asked the person on the other line, what did it sound like? And they said it was absolutely fine, because they didn't even know I was talking from a convertible. And that is how well done Rolls Royce has done this. They really appreciate the smoothness and the quietness, because quiet really means luxury. Well, the time has come and this Dawn has to go back. The ride was short, but extremely sweet. You know, one thing I realized, it doesn't matter if you're young or old, everybody wants to ride or at least even sit in a Rolls Royce. And I'm glad I was able to share that experience with as many people as I could. Driving it? Well, hey, what's not to like? Is it the fastest car? No. Is it the most technological advanced car? Absolutely not. But when you drive this vehicle, it just really has a presence on the road. It's big, it's heavy, but it has that nice, solid feel. You really feel the heritage, and of course you get to enjoy all that beautiful craftsmanship that goes into a Rolls Royce. And the best thing about the Dawn, you can enjoy all that with style with the top down. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up, and if you want to see more everyday reviews, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.